We're here at Newschoolers Gear Week at Sunshine Village. We've been riding some awesome conditions and great power all week, and these are our top 5 best of test power skis. They're dope.
I'm Twig, this is Milo. We're both on the Newschoolers staff. We're here to kind of bring all the tester feedback together for you guys and present the skis as a whole. We've had a bunch of really sick skiers on these skis all week, putting them through their paces. We've just got out of the dive, which is a lift access, backcountry terrain, and all of these skis have been killing it in there. Our testers have had a great time on all of them, and we're stoked to give you a bit more information about who these skis are for and what they can do. So here we have the Carl Phosphid Reckoner. It's a 114 underfoot. It's Carl's new pro model, and it's a super unique kind of take on the powder ski. It has a crazy amount of rebound and energy. Like, you flex these things and they just like so much bounce to them, it's insane. They're probably the poppiest power ski we've ever tried. Like, you flex them and they're pretty soft, then you like pull them and they like really ping back super good. So that makes them like crazy poppy when you're taking off of lips and like bouncing off pillows in Carl's style. One of the super unique things about this ski is the shape profile.
As you can see, really early rise in the tip and tail, lots of splay, but quite smooth rocker lines and pretty symmetrical. You can see that in the nose and tail, the rocker lines kind of start in the same place. That's, really facilitates ride and switch in power, landing switch, and the more sort of freestyle aspect of powder skiing.
You think about Carl and how he skis. He's pretty much designed his dream ski. So it's for stomping stuff switch, it's for buttering in pow. It's got a ton of energy, like we said, popping pillows, playing around. It's not necessarily the chargiest ski. Like, certainly of these skis, it's the most playful. A lot of that comes down to a really unique core layup. Essentially, K2 have taken a pretty thin down wood core and wrapped a ton of carbon around it, so it's got a lot of rebounds. Like, lots of skis have a thin carbon mat or a carbon layer under the top sheet or above the base. But this ski has a full carbon wrap, like it's braided all the way around the core, and that gives it a ton of energy.
You can get it up on the noses, on the tails, really, really easy. The rocker lines create a really surfy ski. I've even thought about taking it for a spin in the park.
Yeah, I think this is one we're gonna see a lot of the K2 athletes on in the park down the line, probably starting even in the summer parks on Hood. You're gonna see this being used as a park ski as well. So if you like a really fat park ski, that could be an option for you. Obviously it's designed to be a powder ski, but these things are tons of fun. So you could definitely treat these as a park option too. It'd be a super easy ski to transition from skiing soft park skis into having a power ski. It's definitely more of that kind of ski than for charging comps and that kind of thing. Like, it's not a mixed variable conditions kind of ski. It's definitely for soft snow, playing around all over the mountain, but especially in POW.
These float super well, really, really fun and unique. And we thought, and so did our testers, that they bring something really unique to the powder ski market that we've not really seen before.
So next up we have the ARV 112. It's the same ski as the ARW 112, which some of our smaller testers have been skiing. We grabbed these ones because I've just brought them out of the dive, but the skis are exactly the same layup. It's a slightly more all-mountain option than the Carls that we were just talking about. It's got a little bit more dampness, a little bit more power to it, but it's still very much a freestyle-focused ski.
They still retain that classic Armada ARV playfulness and freestyle DNA. So still kind of targeted towards your freestyle skier that's trying to put their tricks down in the backcountry or on the backside of resorts, but definitely a good daily driver as well for that like dampness and So responsiveness. This ski fits really nicely in the Armada lineup. The 106 is a great daily driver width. The JJ and the White Walker provide that wider platform. These kind of sit a little bit in the middle, kind of fill that gap. And yeah, they create that option for a power ski with freestyle elements in it. And lovers of Armada are gonna love this ski. It's gorgeous, it's fun, it's damp, it's chargy, it's spinny. It's all the good things you want from a power ski.
So it's not as much rocker as the K2s, but it's still a lot of rocker. It's got a pretty good splay. It's got a good tail on it. So it floats really nicely. It planes on the surface of the snow, while at the same time, there's plenty of tail for landing switch. It's not quite symmetrical, but there's enough there. One thing I actually really liked about this ski is the tail is like a little bit more stable than the tip. Don't know about you guys, but for me, it's always nice to have that stable platform when you're landing. Don't wheelie out. Landing switch, that's not so much of an issue. You're not gonna like flip up onto your noses. They don't need to be as stiff. And it makes for just a ski that feels balanced, mounted a smidge back from center, but not too far back. I've been riding them at the freestyle mounting point, and for me, that's perfect. If you're a more traditional skier, for sure, there's enough stability in the tail to bump that back a bit, drive the tips a little bit more. These would be probably my personal pick from these skis for just a daily sort of fun power ski. Might even ride them in the park now again. Super fun ski. We were just in some really tight trees, like some pillows with pretty short runouts where you really want to be able to stop fast before you take yourself out. And I actually was so glad to be on these skis. Like, I found it was super easy to just throw them sideways, shut down all speed, and the ski just works with you on that. Definitely on balance, more of a pivoty ski than a charger, despite a fairly long radius, because just the rocker profile makes the ski go sideways super easily. And they're also the kind of ski that you could take on a trip where power is your focus, but you might not get it, and you still won't have a terrible time. Like, you could ski these on a marginal day and they're pretty fun. You can play around on some rollers and hard snow and like ski them in a playful way just within resort, and they're pretty fun. They're not gonna kick your ass all over the hill like some of the bigger skis, more chargy skis here, where you have to be on it all the time. They're relaxing, they're easy to ski, nice and light. I think a lot of people will enjoy these a lot.
Yeah, super intuitive and super fun ski.
Yeah. So next up we have the Dynastar MFRee 112, which is a new ski from Dynastar this year. It's a little bit wider than the 108 that's previously in the line, but they used to have a 118 that was super gnarly, and they've kind of toned it down a bit with these, and we really like the results. They're super fun, these skis, really playful, but definitely a lot more on the stability side than the previous two skis we've been talking about. These things are pretty burly. We've had some big mountain, more like comp style skiers on these, and they've been telling us how stable they are and how much they trust them.
Surprisingly for its width, rails on groomers as well. But yeah, for dropping steep stuff or needing to, shut down speed or turn fast, this ski really does all of that really well. And yeah, for a 112 underfoot, floats really nice. It's pretty surfy. Similarly to the 108, if you mount it a little bit more forward, it gets a bit more of a pivoty feel. You can slash it around. But if you mount it more towards the recommended line, a little bit further back, it carves really hard. It breaks free a little bit less. It's a bit more of a point and shoot kind of ski. Skiers that ski fast or tall riders are gonna really get a lot out of this ski because of that stability and that platform that it provides you when you're skiing all kinds of terrain.
Yeah, I'm a bit more of a freestyle skier, like more pivoty, looser technique than Marlo. And I bump the bindings quite a lot forward. Like, I think recommended is something like -8, and I'm riding them like -3, -4. I think that's transforms the ski into something that's, while being stable, is also still super pivoty and fun. I quite like them for buttering. I quite like them for slobbing and slashing power turns, but they still, when you point them, they're happy to go at that point. They don't feel twitchy. I think it's a really clever piece of ski shaping. And I think that's true of the whole MFRee line, but these ones especially, they're your friend on a big day. Super fun ski. Definitely have some good splay up here. There's plenty of float from this. The tail's a little bit more traditional. It doesn't have that kick at the end of it like a full true twin, but it still likes to drift sideways really happily.
They very well could be an all-mountain ski too. And we often find with skis that are a little bit more specialist, they are really good at one thing, but lose out on some properties in other areas. I feel like these skis really don't in that all-mountain sort of aspect. If you're getting through cruddy stuff or like Avi debris, this is really gonna perform there while you wait for the snow to arrive, or at the end of a day or a trip when you've got all the goods. So it's gonna really be your friend if you're taking one ski on a all mountain mission to a hill. If you get that snow, it's gonna treat you really well. So next in our lineup of best of test POW skis, we have the Scott SEA 116. This is a really unique ski from Scott, and it really blew us and all of our testers away. This ski is pretty directional and pretty damp, but floats really well and is pretty surfy. This is, a great ski for kind of anyone looking for a wider option. Someone who skis a little bit more traditionally is going to really get a lot out of this, but it definitely has a bit of a freestyle shape to it.
Yeah, this thing is super fun. It's got a little bit of this horizontal rocker going on. It's not as extreme as you've seen from Armada and Atomic, where the ski wraps all the way around, but it's just enough to make the ski drift sideways really naturally and easily. It's a super fun addition to a pretty unique ski. The flex profile on these skis is pretty interesting. You can see that the nose has a pretty good give in it, but then you flip them over and the tail is a lot stiffer. It's got that whole directional flex profile going on from a freeride ski, but then it comes with a twinned, more freestyle inspired shaping. So I kind of think it fits in that modern day freeride ski bracket where you're gonna throw some tricks. Landing switch probably isn't your priority, but you can do so. The shape is fairly balanced in the sense of swing weight, so your mount's only a few centimeters back from true center, and you've got that soft tip to float you to the surface, stiff tail for landings. It's a unique new take on how to ski all mountain freestyle. You can check out the profile on these. They got a pretty good splay right at the end, but it's a more mellow rocker profile than some, a bit less in the tail too.
Soft nose makes turn initiation really easy, but the stiff tail provides stability for landings and coming out of a turn with power. I like the further back mount point that's more traditional for me, just because I often find myself, if I get too over the noses of the ski, they can fold up on me and get a little bit squirrely. I really found that these didn't have that issue. Your more traditional skier is gonna really get on with this ski. As I've already said, it's super intuitive, really easy to get along with. And yeah, I think Scott have done something really interesting and unique here, and this ski's gonna make a lot of people very happy.
I think one thing that's pretty interesting about these skis, and that isn't immediately apparent and sounds a little bit crazy even, is it's a pretty soft ski down to about here, but it's so damp that it really still tracks beautifully in mixed snow. I really enjoyed how easy it was to ski in a variety of conditions, and how you had a lot of the benefits of a soft nose, planes really nicely in POW, but it doesn't deflect, it doesn't feel uncomfortable, and they feel a little bit more like something that you might be used to if you haven't come off a bunch of soft twin tip skis. They have that directional flex, but they're incredibly easy to ski. So you want to grab your first kind of big POW ski, these would be a great choice. They're not going to kick your ass, but they've got a lot of stability in the tail. They're just a really intuitive, easy to ski option.
So last but definitely not least is the Volkl Revolt 114. This is the burliest ski at the ski test. It's a little bit terrifying, but that's kind of the beauty in it. It likes to go straight, it likes to go fast. It's point 'em and shoot, hang on for dear life, big buck wild, stupid, stiff, great chargy ski. But Mikkel also did the nicest 2P2 ever on them, so I don't get it.
One thing to note about these skis straight off the bat is it's definitely directional. It's not like the other skis in the Revolt family, which are more or less twins. Essentially, they're all freestyle skis. This is first and foremost a freeride ski. Yep, you see a few people skiing in the park, but my knees certainly wouldn't take it, and yours probably wouldn't either. You flex this thing, or you try, and you need to weigh more than 65 kilos to do so. They give a little bit in the tip, but you can see that most of this ski is pretty bomb-proof. It's got a little bit of tail there. Like, you can ride it switch, you can like land in hard snow switch and it's gonna be fine. You can even hit the park if you're some kind of psycho, but these things, stiff, like really stiff. This is the ski that you pick up to charge steep lines, send a drop, know that no matter how big you go, how backseat you land, this ski has got your back, it's supportive, it's stiff in the tail. It's a great ski for chargy skiers. You could ride it in your freeride qualifiers, be super happy with it. There's a reason you see a lot of people skiing these in comps, because this tail is bomb-proof. You land even vaguely close to on point and you got this thing. Like, this thing stomps.
And it's worth noting that this is probably the most specialized ski in this lineup we have here. The others in the lineup have a few applications, but as Twig said, I think this one is really for your chargy skiers. I wouldn't describe it as a playful ski, but what that brings is a huge ability to ski a huge amount of terrain, especially, you know, mixed conditions. This thing is going to bust right through anything. Obviously you're looking for power, but you occasionally come across murder muffins, avi debris, sun crust, and this ski is going to be the one that's going to support you through all of that, but still super floaty. The directional nature of it and the rear mount on it means that the long nose provides that flotation and keeps you on top of the snow. But really, this ski is going to be for powder skiers that are doing some of the gnarliest stuff out there.
For sure. I mean, this ski is definitely not for the faint-hearted. This is one of those skis that you buy when you're pushing the limits, you're struggling with your other skis. You pretty much are not going to find the speed limit on these. You're pretty much never going to flex through these. No matter what you hit, this tail is stable. These things go hard, and you don't need to worry about, you know, is this ski going to keep up with me? Like, don't worry about it. You need to figure out if you can keep up with this ski. Just to sum things up, you're going to have a great time in the power on any of these skis. It's kind of a question of what you want to do with them. I think you're never going to be unhappy on any of these, but if you're looking for your first power ski, something like the ARV or the Scott is going to be more your wheelhouse. And then these other skis, the K2s, the MFRees, and the Volkls, they're a little bit more specialized. Specialized freestyle guy, chargy skier that wants to do a bit of everything, and lunatic.
Crushes big lines.
This guy crushes big lines. All of these skis are super sick skis. I hope we've given you some useful feedback on how to choose between them, and also what to kind of look for in a powder ski. Let us know if you've got any questions in the comments.
And if you're looking to buy a new park or all mountain ski, make sure you check out our best of test videos for those categories, because we've been putting all sorts of skis through their paces this week.